Hello, welcome back. I'm Miniature Mike. So, story with this video, I actually uploaded a universe tier list a few days ago, and without realizing it, discovered that my microphone was muted the whole time. So, I'm going to do it again. This time, I made sure that audio is on, so you can actually hear it, hear my commentary, and so we can discuss all these different characters. I'll likely probably just kind of do the same one as before. Maybe I'll make some changes here and there, but for the most part, that's kind of how I'll approach it. So let's jump right into it. Um, First character up here, we got. Okay, we can see we got everything. So Clone Trooper. These guys are just C tier. They're fine. They do the job. Don't love them, don't hate them, but there's much better options. Bark Trooper. These things are all right. I'm gonna put them above the Clone Trooper in C tier. They're a lot of fun. They're expensive, and they do have a wide base, so they can get a lot of hits off on the strafe attack. Definitely high C tier, but they're just a little bit too niche for me. Really cool molds, though. Really cool bases. These guys, Elite Clone Troopers. So my only issue with these, you're not getting a whole lot more. So you're paying 3 more costs for 10 more hit points. But really, I feel like 20 is the minimum. And then you're going to be getting a little bit more defense, a little more attack. So it's not, to me, you're not getting an overwhelming amount back in return. They do look amazing, and they're better with Commander Pakara, but unfortunately, I'm going to stick them a little bit lower. If you compare them to the Elite Stormtrooper, they have the exact same stats, except the Stormtrooper has 2 more defense. And to me, that's kind of a bummer. So, Flash Speeder, definitely a solid B tier. For sure, lots of high B tier. I think great stuff. Good damage, speed 12, flight, and mobile. Those go awesomely together. Big fan of it. It's a little expensive for 41, but I think these things are pretty cool. A big fan. Obi-Wan Kenobi on Boga. I'm gonna put him just below. Great version of Obi-Wan. Pretty much identical to Jedi Knight. Honestly, he just drops the commander effect, or sorry, I should say Jedi Master drops the commander effect. And he has Wall Climber, and he's a little faster this time. So, it's a bummer he dropped Lightsaber Assault, because that could have been really good with Speed 8, but he's fine. Not crazy about him. Good stats, but he's just a big, wide base, so he's going to be an easy target. It's good he does deflect, but you can do some fun things with him, all right, but he's down there. These guys, I'm going to put the battle droids just down in D tier. I like the design of these battle droids. They look really cool. But nothing special. Obviously, by themselves, D tier, but you could do some cool things with battle droids, as I've said before. Darth Maul on Speeder. This is a tough one. Darth Maul on Speeder. I'm going to stick him in A tier for now, but he's got a lot of good stuff going for him. So the fact that you have Rage, you have Lightsaber Assault too, so don't forget that. You also have Charging Assault. So you have a lot of different assault type of powers, so you can move and do damage. I love that he has Cleave and Charging Assault and a good attack, so he can move and really destroy 2 characters at once potentially, or do a lot of damage. And then if he is stationary, you have Double, you have Sith Rage, you have Cleave. I think he's kind of underrated. He's very fast, so he can get in, do damage, and get out. So he's high A tier. I'm very tempted to put S tier, but I'm just not totally sure yet. Not totally sure, but he's so good. He's expensive for 57, obviously, but the speed helps tremendously. He can go fast and hit, or he can go faster and get out of trouble. Hailfire Droid, definitely a B tier. I'll put these just below. The only thing the knocks I have against them, I do like that they have damage reduction 10. That helps. I do like that they can move fast and then use their missiles, which is nice. I don't love that defense. These things will get worn down fast with that defense. But at least they have good defense against 10 damage units and other types of things. So I think I like them more than Obi-Wan on Boga, because they're really cool. But you got to be careful with them. That Missiles 40 is pretty awesome, so make sure you use it well. Not a fan of Newt Gunray. I'm just going to stick him down here. These are great powers, don't get me wrong, but at the cost of, just hurting your whole team, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm sure there's ways to get around it that I haven't even thought of, but Newt Gunray for me is D tier. Not that great. There's other units to use. Super Battle Droids. So I had So these guys right here, I'm going to put them top of C tier, maybe bottom of B tier. They kind of straddle the both. I really like what these guys can do, and they're very easy to improve. And then I like how they have charging fires and synchronized fire, easy way to get more attack. But um, I like them. I like them more than clone troopers. I personally, um, but yeah, I'll leave them right down there. Let's see here. Next is Super Battle Droid Commander. I'll just stick him right next to him, but I'll put him in front. I'll have him kind of straddle it. On their own, they're kind of beefy. 30 damage, much more hit points, which is fine. I do like how they. Well, I'm gonna put him down in C tier actually. I'm not a fan of the commander effect because it doesn't play well with what the Super Battle Droid can do using charging fire, which is a bummer. But it is nice that if they're stationary, they can get a little bit more attack off themselves, maybe use a little bit less combined fire. But that is, now that I realize Careful Shot doesn't play well, that is a bummer, but they're all right. Abs and Black Sun Thug, so not too bad. I like how they have stealth and cunning attack. So for 8 points, get a character in stealth, be able to have some solid, be able to do some solid stuff. So they're definitely fine. I think I originally stuck them pretty low. Let's see, on my original tier list, I had them mid C tier. Yeah, I'm going to put them down here like this, somewhere in the middle. Okay, that looks good. Ackley, these guys are pretty fun. How far up do I want to put them? I think I'll put them higher B tier. So they are 50 points. They do have pretty solid stats overall. They can reach, they have damage reduction, they have cleave, so these guys can really just, if you get them up to a lot of targets, cleave's going to work well with reach, it'll work well with damage reduction, it'll work well with savage. So I think these guys are pretty good. I'm going to have high B tier. I'm not going to say A tier. I'm not quite that crazy about them. Given they are expensive, they have low defense, and especially if you have like a good melee unit with high defense, you'll be able to take care of these guys probably. But definitely high B tier. Really fun savage characters. ASP7, I'm just going to put these guys down here, low C tier. I've never really used Lift. I'm sure it could be nice because, Lift can help get people out of situations potentially, but I mean, it's kind of really unusual just to have someone for that reason. Industrial Repair 10's okay, but I feel like even that's been improved on in days, more lately. So definitely going to stick them down here, bottom C tier. They're okay. They got some interesting things. I'll put these guys in A tier. I think maybe I'm overrating them, but both the Him and Bomar Monks and Slime War, they both have Dominate. Really good power if you can set it up quite the right way. Gotta put this in A tier for sure. Dash Rendar, I really don't love this Dash Rendar very much. I'll put him right here. But he's really boring. He doesn't really have a whole lot going for him, honestly. That might even be too high. For 21 points, you're not getting that much. You're really not. Just getting Opportunist so you can get off a 30 damage shot for 10 damage, for 10 attack. That's it, and you're banking on it. So I might even slide him down here more. I'm just kind of a waste of a character. Dr. Evenzen, yeah, you can go down here. I think you're more interesting and useful than New Gunray. Like, these are really just kind of memes, They're just, these powers, they're just kind of for fun to throw in, but they're not very good. All right. Gonk Power Droid. I'm going to put these guys high B tier. Probably even above. No, I'll put them just below the Ackley. Awesome. Like, it is a bummer, so you got to be careful with them, or so self-destruct doesn't become an issue. That could be an issue with, accurate shop type squads. But power coupling is great if you can give any character extra attack, especially a shooter. You're going to be in good business. And it's not that expensive to even grant extra attack. So if you got some with triple, now they got quad, some with quad, now they have quintuple. Pretty cool. I think these guys can be pretty cool. So B tier for sure, but you just got to set them up right. Guri, definitely going to stick Guri personally in A tier. I think, for 25 points, you're getting someone with so many different options, so much versatility. There we go. You have great stats. Like, the defense is incredible for 25, in my opinion. Cunning is going to be helpful. Mobile is I don't know, melee character's not as impressive. Stealth is nice, so you can kind of get closer. I don't really want her taking too much damage for Caesar, but that's okay. I think as an A tier, there's so much good going on here, having stealth and cunning and crazy high attack, high stuff. I wish the damage output was better, but if you play her right, you'll be okay. Definitely pretty awesome. Kaminoan, aesthetic, F tier. These guys provide no value to your squad, so I'd skip them. Lando Calrissian, he's also low A tier, probably above Guri. I really like how he has mobile and opportunist, and he gives people in your squad mobile attack. Non-unique followers, though. But I think that's just, that type of a commander effect can be so helpful and so much fun in so many ways. Definitely A tier. Love the commander effect. If he's in a pinch, you got double attack too. He's not going to do too much attack, but if he has opportunists, you'll probably be fine. Definitely a fan of that version. This Lobot is S tier. So the cool thing with this Lobot is once you use fringe reinforcements, you can get the characters you want to respond. And now you have a 7-point piece with override, and nobody can do that in the game. So that's huge in my opinion. Nexu is not as good, in my opinion, as the other ones. So you have ambush and double, and that's about it. And you're fast, which is helpful. But once you get up to your opponent and you use your ambush and you only hit them, you have bad attack, and maybe you hit them twice for 10 damage, you're probably going to get taken out pretty fast. I like that they're cheap, though, so that's very helpful. But I think for me, the Nexu is probably more of like a high C tier type of creature. I'll put them right above the Abyssin. Yeah. Not as strong as the other arena animals. They have their use. If you mix them right with like Exarchon or something, or even other characters, you could probably do some cool things. But I don't love them as much as the other ones. Ponda Baba, I'm just going to stick him with his mate down here. Let's see, where are we going? I get so confused. I like him a little bit more. At least he's a bounty hunter, I guess, so he's cheap. Good stats for a 9-point piece, actually. Like, it's pretty good stats for a 9-point piece. And if you happen to, like, I'd only ever use these two if they were together. It would have to be for some funny, meme reason, but these guys are both D tier. Prince Caesar, really cool character. I remember my cousin had him when I first started playing this game a long time ago. Really nice stats, really good stats, but he has no way of improving his damage, so he's not an offensive force at all. But he'll hit you if he tries. Pheromones can be really nice to avoid damage, especially. And then when you have like other bodyguards present too, like even Guri, that's good. His commander effect is really nice, so you can improve people's grenades, which I don't think should be laughed at. Like, grenades 10 to me is kind of a boring power. It's just not a very potent power. But making a grenades 20 changes that a lot. I think it really makes grenades much more dangerous. And then additionally, you give people with stealth accurate shots. So if you have stealthy individuals, a lot of Black Sun have stealth, then them being able to sit in cover and just kind of nail other enemies is so strong. And the fact that these are both allies, and there's no range, it's rangeless, I should say, or unlimited range. That's such a strong power. So I'm going to stick him up here. I think he's probably just a little bit better. You have to set him up with the right units, obviously. Like, he's better with Black Sun units and stuff, and fringe units. But if you put him with certain squads, like, some squads like Rebel Commandos have grenades 10. Now they can have grenades 20. That could be kind of cool. And they also have stealth, so now they would have accurate shots. So there's certain commando squads you can stick these guys with. Doesn't matter if they're Black Sun. They're going to do some really nice things. So I'm actually going to put him high. I'm pretty high on this guy. He's pretty cool. The Rancor. I put this guy in B tier before. So the cool thing with the Rancor, he's not too expensive. 33. You have pretty solid stats. You can regenerate, which is helpful. You're fast, so you can get to your target. You can reach your target, and then you can probably be stuck there for a little bit. And definitely want some support for sure, so you don't get killed too fast. Once this guy hits his target, he can definitely do some damage. So to me, he feels like a cheaper, weaker version of one of the arena animals, but definitely still useful. I'm going to stick him right above these guys. Yeah, that looks good. The Reek. This is a tricky one for me because Charging Assault is good, so you can get up, do 40 damage, but then you're stuck. And you do have 1,000,000 hit points, so you're going to be alive for a while. And you have good defense too, better defense than the Ackley, I believe. But I feel like Savage and Charging Assault is kind of a bummer. If you want a character who does this, I'd get the young Crate Dragon. He's the same stuff, but instead he'll do 50 damage, which is even better on this situation. So for me, the Reek's cool, but I'm going to put him down lower here. Not as good as the Ackley, in my opinion. Ackley's more versatile, for sure. This guy's too one-dimensional. Obi-Wan's just fallen down B tier. He's good. I don't want a Jedi with a 3x3 base. Rhodium Black Sun Vigo. These guys were so fun. So his commander effect and Caesar's commander effect go together amazing. Essentially, you're going to have your people with stealth, and you'll have accurate shot, but your enemy's accurate shot's not going to work on you, essentially. So you can do some really cool things there. And then him having fringe reserves and being pretty good on his own, having, stealth. Double attack's not as helpful. He's not going to hit anything. But having fringe reserves and being useful is definitely a huge plus. So I'm going to probably stick this guy up. I don't know if I'm going to put him bottom of A tier, but they deserve it. Shistavan and Pilot for 12. These guys can get 10 and 10 twice. For costing that much, that's not that impressive to me. I don't really care for that too much. They're not terrible, but I'll put them bottom of C tier. Tusken on Bantha. So in my opinion, these are kind of underrated. For only 22 points, you need to get 90 HP, 18 defense. That's not bad. You can squeeze, obviously, since you're a creature. So when you're melee, you'll get more damage, but you're not going to hit much because of the attack. But when you approach something, being able to approach and kind of get 9 attack, 20 damage, 30 damage on something that's that cheap, it's not bad. I don't love it as much as the rest of these, but I'll put them low B tier. You could probably put them some kind of fun combinations too, but I like the cost. The cost is nice for what you're getting. Vornsker. So they're kind of expensive, in my opinion, for what they do. They just have one really high-powered attack where you'll have Jedi Hunter, Paralysis, Poison, and that's it. And when you're done, you better hope you don't get that die too quick. So they're not A tier to me. They may even be low B tier. They're definitely not C tier. I do like how they have stealth and really good raw stats for the most part, but it would be helpful if they're able to maybe have something else that can give them a little more damage. But Paralysis is no joke. Poison's all right, and then definitely if you use these guys against Jedi, the problem if you use these guys against Jedi is they'll do the attack. Hopefully Paralysis works, but then they'll probably get chopped up after that. Definitely solid, but I'm going to put these guys in B tier. Where do they belong? So I probably prefer them to these. I might even prefer them over Obi-Wan on Boga, although that kind of sounds silly, sort of. I'll put them right there. I think that's appropriate for him. Yeah. X1 Viper Droid. I love these things. These are going into A tier. I'm going to put them just right up here. Yeah. In my last tier video, I had just below Guri. I'm going to even put him even higher than that. I don't know. These things are so cool. So to have 30 damage, decent attack, double attack is already great. They're a droid, and so these guys belong on the Separatists. If you put these guys on the Separatist team, they're going to be amazing, through the roof, powerful, unbleed, undestop, just so fun with the Separatists. And then molecular shielding is a great deterrent. People aren't going to want to attack you if they're going to hurt themselves. So they're really going to be relying on adjacent enemies to get them. So I'm going to stick these guys pretty high up. This was the first huge character I ever pulled growing up. He's from a 90s comic. That's a lot of fun. So much fun. X1 Viper Droids are great. ATSTs, they're also really good, but not quite as good in my opinion. They're more versatile, you can argue. I like how they have damage reduction. They got worse defense, though. Higher damage. I just feel like these guys might get knocked down a little bit quicker than the X1 Viper Droid, because the X1 Viper Droid, you really don't want to attack it unless you're, melee. But with these guys, because of the low defense, people are definitely going to be taking shots at it quite often. You're not going to use grenades 20 usually. Mobile attack is nice, for sure. And then damage reduction is always good. So these guys are really good. They are really expensive, though. So I'm gonna probably put these guys the very, very top of B tier. I just feel like they can get knocked down a little too quick. They don't pair as well with other units, kind of like X1 does. X1 Viperjoy is incredible with certain combinations, but I'll put them top of B tier, maybe even bottom of A tier. But ATSTs are pretty strong. They really are, especially if you can just let them be stationary and shoot twice for 40 damage. You're going to be in good shape, but that defense is a big question mark, and they're still expensive no matter what. Baron Fell, not a fan. Don't really care for this guy that much. For 18 points and having Deadeye, those aren't bad stats for a shooter with 18 points. They really aren't. But the commander effect isn't one that I love. I'm not a huge fan of those types of ones. I guess it upped your odds of hitting things, don't get me wrong, but I'll probably stick him just like right there. Wow, low C tier. Dark Side Marauder, so for 22 points, you get great stats, and you get Sith Rage twice. I would like to have seen this guy have just another ability to set him apart. Maybe like Stealth, I don't know, just something, Cunning Attack, whatever. But I think they're all right. They're all right for what they do. I think I put these guys, low B tier. I think the bottom of B tier sounds just fine. I'll put them above the Bantha. Yeah, because these guys are like the same stats, same cost, but even lower. Part of me really likes them a lot because of the cheapness and the stats you get, but they need to be able to attack twice. Then that would really kind of put them into A tier for me. Really strong. Dark Trooper Phase 3, missiles 20. It's nice. It's like sightless, rangeless grenades. It's kind of cool. Pretty good stats, too, on their own if you just want to fire away. Kind of expensive. And the fact they're on the Empire, not like Fringe or something, kind of hurts. Let's see here. Excuse me, I have to yawn. Oh, boy. I think they're pretty good. Like, they do have solid stats. Missiles is fun, but, it's kind of an all-or-nothing power. I'll probably put them just right above the Vornsker. That sounds good to me. Vornskers are good, but... man, do I prefer the Vornsker? Yeah, these guys are more versatile than the Vornsker is. Vornsker is really meant for one thing. Dark Trooper Phase 3, pretty cool. I wish they had, like, Missiles 30 or something, but... or maybe even just one other ability. That's not, what they have is fine. Okay, this Darth Vader for sure is top of A tier. Amazing stats. Being able to do triple dark armor is useful against everyone but Jedi. Jedi Hunter is fantastic. So against Jedi, this guy's going to be tearing him apart. Very versatile with the powers. I like how he has block deflect. Sweeps is nice for approaching groups. I don't really care for grip too much. I guess if there's like a quick 10 damage you need to do to someone, it's available. And then Whirlwind it's there. I wouldn't probably use it, but really good. I think he's incredible stats, amazing, but he kind of reminds me of Mace Windu, which you'll see, or General Windu in the next set. Amazing, but even for 75, it doesn't quite kind of push me over into the S tier range just yet, but he's definitely top of A tier. I'll put him right below Maul. I think Maul's a little bit scarier for being much cheaper, being able to get in and out real quick. But fantastic character, fantastic Darth Vader. No complaints. Admiral Thrawn. Now, this guy is the top of S tier for sure. Good base stats just to kind of like keep him alive. Master Tactician's fantastic. Such a good power. Yasselmari, being able to just kind of negate force people within your radius is helpful. It's fine. And then his commander effects are awesome. Being able to help all of your kind of extra non-unique characters, being able to buff them a little bit, and then, of course, being able to have the allies switch places has just proven to be one of the most powerful moves you can use. So, love them. Sith Witches. So I really, really enjoy these for a few reasons. If you mix them with Palpatine, which is an easy mix, they can use Force Lightning quite a bit for being so cheap. That is actually very scary. Very scary. They can make fringe characters, be a little bit more useful, which I guess is helpful, but I just love how they have great stats for 17, or pretty good stats for 17, and then they have Force Lightning. They can use it once at least, but I'd use these guys with an Emperor squad, have a lot of cheap Night Sisters, and then just get automatic 30 damage. These are very scary. I'm going to put them in A tier personally. I really like them a lot for kind of the implications and for all the different things that they can do. So where do I like them? I'll put them down here because on there they require a little bit to make them extremely powerful, but I think A tier is solid. Nogri for 40-point bodyguard on Thrawn. That's not too bad. And it will help against melee people a teeny bit, but they're very unimpressive to me for the most part. They're not going to have they don't have too much of a damage potential against them people who are close to you, unfortunately. They have stealth, which you're not going to be using if you're a bodyguard, so I guess there's that. I don't know. I don't really care for these things too much. I'll put them in C tier, like low C tier. I'm very unimpressed by these guys in general. Yeah, on my other video, I think I put these guys very low as well. Let's see, on my other one, where did I stick these guys? They should have been low. I put them high C tier. I don't know about that. You can get bodyguards that have 40 hit points for a lot cheaper than that. So, no, I'm not impressed overall. I'll bump up just a teeny bit. Stormtroopers, definitely a solid B tier. For being cheap, having the high defense, and then you can mold them however you want to. I like it more than Clone Troopers, personally, just for being so cheap and having such high defense. I'll get over the 10 damage. So definitely a fan of Stormtroopers. I'm going to stick these guys up. I think that sounds really good. Just right there. Stormtrooper Commanders. Kind of quirky. I do like how they have a little bit better oomph than the officer. So they got more hit points. But their commander effects are a little bit different. So at the end of your turn, you can choose an adjacent non-follower, and that person gets 10 damage until the end of this character's next turn. Which is like, I don't think there's another commander effect like this in the game. So it doesn't... It's really cool and kind of at the same time. You can give it to an appropriate person who you want to be doing some damage. And then you can kind of focus your attack with that particular individual. I do kind of like them for 15. Cost 15. These are great stats for a 15-point piece. They just are. And it's a very interesting, unique commander effect. You don't see all that often. So I'll definitely stick them in B tier. I'll put them just above their Stormtrooper. I think I like these more than the Stormtrooper officer a little bit, but the officer is good because it can help with the low attack problem. And they also have high defense. I think these guys actually have higher defense than the officer too. I think the officer just has 16. So pretty good commanders. Akbar is pretty cool. He's got recon, decent stats, very bad attack, honestly, defense for 21. But if you keep him back, recon's helpful. And then he kind of has his own like worse version of opportunist that he gives out. I wish it was a little bit better. I think I'm going to put him at the very bottom of A tier. That's probably too high, to be honest, but recon is helpful. It's a trap. He's probably not going to use it because he'll probably get killed. But there's some situations maybe it could be useful. I'm going to put him... it's too high. Recon is good, and I put the probe droid that high, but the probe droid was cheap, and it had recon, and to me that's totally awesome. But he's definitely a B tier. I'll put him just below Obi-Wan, just above Obi-Wan. That sounds fine. Nice array of powers, but nothing really makes me super excited. Bith Rebel. Almost the same stats as a Rebel Trooper. Just you have to get a little too close to your enemy to earn that extra attack. No thanks. Not interested. I'll put these guys... Yeah, I'm not interested at all. I'll put them below these. Chewbacca Rebel Hero. Easy A tier. He dominates great for this, don't get me wrong, but that's kind of all he does. And they're easy to take out, so I'm going to have this guy kind of slide down. I'll put him just below the X-1 Viper Droid. So this guy is incredibly versatile. Other Chewbacca's after this kind of take bits and pieces and focus on different things. But with this particular Chewbacca, what you have is great stats. You have awesome powers, so you can do a few different things. You can assist machinery with gunner, industrial repair, or even repair with droids. You can be like the classic, brutal Wookiee, where you can run up, do momentum. You can do demolish. You can do cleave, and you can really just kind of knock out to have a really strong rush attack. Or you can play bodyguard, and you have so many hit points, it actually kind of works. So very versatile, but doesn't have a lot of damage output, but definitely can do a lot of amazing things. In my opinion, probably the best Chewbacca out there. But there's a lot of good Chewbaccas. Chewbacca's a pretty good unit. Dresselian Commando. For 14 points, you get stealth, and if they're on their own, kind of hanging out, they can do some pretty good stuff. When you mix these guys with the Commando Strike Leader, and being able to have super stealth and just kind of sit on their own in different places, maybe have use Loner, use Deadeye, combined fire in some ways, they can be pretty kind of cool. Like, they're all right. Definitely B tier. I wouldn't use them very often, but like definitely like bottom of B tier. You can do some cool things with them with the appropriate squads. Han Solo, Rebel Hero. Okay, so I'm gonna put him below these guys like this. He is good. He's got great stats. He'll get off a good shot. Yeah, it's more appropriate. Mobile, cunning, accurate, incredible duo. He has one force, which can be nice. I don't love the commander effect. Advantageous attack isn't something it's just kind of a half-hearted cunning attack, and I don't love that. And it's only people within 6 squares, so I think it's probably a little underrated, honestly. But I personally like having Chewbacca, who's cheaper, very versatile than this guy. But I think this version of Han Solo is A tier, obviously. Super great. You're not going to complain. And for only 35, that's pretty good. You know, the best Han Solos are like in the 50s or high 40s. So I think I'm not going to complain for using this Han Solo at all. I may bump him down just a hair, but I think just on his own, I'm a big fan of how it is. Luke Skywalker Tauntaun. This guy, to me, is easily on the bottom. Yeah. Use the Force is terrible for a 10 damage unit. So you're going to spend 3 Force points to do 20 instead of 30 damage. And it's as far as I know, critical hits only double the base damage. So lightsaber, you're not going to do 40 damage with this thing. So I think this guy, yeah, he has good stats for a 16, but like his force power is useless. And if you want to use lightsaber, you can, but I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Same with this guy. Poor defense, and he doesn't do anything. He's a 17-point piece that has decent raw stats, sort of. But the fact that he doesn't do anything for me, he doesn't even have pilot, although they didn't introduce pilot yet as a power. Maybe they did. I'm going to put him down here. I'd take him over this guy, at least because he's more mobile. But not good. And he has more hit points, too. Princess Leia, Rebel Hero. Not bad. Not my favorite Princess Leia, because Princess Leia always has these really interesting strategic commander effects. On her own, for 14 points, that's pretty good. That's actually really good in terms of just raw stats for 14 points. Having 2 force power can be helpful. And then whenever someone defeats an enemy within 6 squares, they sort of kind of get like I don't know what you want to call it, like a poor man's mobile attack. Pretty good. I don't mind it at all. I don't love her as much as the other characters, but I'll put her like high B tier for sure. Like very high B tier, like just behind the ATST. I like other Leias more, but this one is definitely, you can do some good things with her too. Wedge, pretty good. Really good stats. Not much of a damage output, unfortunately. Maybe if you mix him with Prince Caesar, you can make it a little bit better. I do like how he gives pilots evade, and evade is a great power, a really good power. So being able to give pilots that is helpful, although that can be a little tricky since there aren't too many types of pilots to choose from, but there's some solid ones out there. And then he also doesn't want to die. So it's hard to hit him, and it's hard to kill him. Pretty good combinations. I think he's still B tier in my mind. Probably like down, like right here, something like that. Yeah. I think I'd prefer the Flash Beater. I'd even prefer the Hail Droid. Man, who do I prefer? He has pretty decent stats. I wish he did more damage, though. He just doesn't do any damage, and that's really hard for me. So I'll stick him just ahead of Ackbar. I think I like him just a little more than Ackbar. They both don't do damage, but I don't know. At least he's got some staying power. Kyle Katarn, kind of a bummer of a character because for 31, he has really good stats. He really does. He can shoot, although not much damage. And then his lightsaber and stealth is really helpful too. I think he's definitely B tier. I just feel like he's missing something. I think he should have had double attack at minimum. For range, it's good, but he doesn't have double attack, and to me, that kind of holds him back a little bit. So I think for me, Calcatarn, while being really interesting, is gonna be B tier, and I'll put him. I like him more than these guys just a little bit, but I'll put him with his other group down here. Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master. So I'm gonna have. So he's very similar cost to Darth Vader, in the same set, but he's just missing some things. Like the stats are a little bit weaker. He's missing some really good powers. His commander effect is kind of nice. So if you mix him with a lot of Jedi, they can get more force. You have to mix him with a lot of Jedi to help with that. So it's not a wonderful commander effect, and then it prevents him from being a follower, which kind of sucks. So it's an okay commander effect. Like if it was like every ally in general has a force, that's kind of fun. And the thing that is nice is he does have a lot of different force powers he can use. I wish he had a Master of the Force 2. That'd be better in my mind. But I think for him, I just probably put him like very top of B tier, like the top of B tier. He's not bad at all. Pretty good, pretty versatile. But unfortunately, like if you compare him to Darth Vader, they're just one difference apart. And to me, Darth Vader just run laps in schools, just schools him, like totally schools him. This guy I can't justify him putting him up there, but not a bad Jedi, but he's underpowered, unfortunately. I might even stick him down right there. New Republic Commander, not too bad. The fact that these guys have Careful Shot and Deadeye, for 19 points, they got a good chance of doing some damage, unlike, other similar commanders like Sith Trooper, Old Republic Commander, other kinds of like base Trooper commanders. Not bad, and I do like the commander effect. So you can give your Trooper followers Careful Shot. Careful Shot works really good with New Republic Troopers anyways. So I think it's a really nice combination. It's a good commander effect that syncs well with what the Trooper already do, the New Republic Troopers already do. So I think these guys are definitely like a B tier unit. I think low B tier is probably still where I put them, though. I think even on their own for 19 points, got low stats. And for similar cost, there's other commanders like in Champions of the Force that have better powers in general. But I think they're definitely like a low B tier for what they do. They're good. They're helpful for their team. Let's see, New Republic Trooper. Things I like about these are this. So they cost one more than a Clone Trooper, and for doing that, they get one more attack, and they also get advantageous cover. And that's so easy to take advantage of for the most part. You just sit in cover, and for 1 point more than a Clone Trooper, in cover, you're going to be getting 21 defense, which is really good. 21 defense, one more attack. So I think these are pretty good troopers. I prefer them than Clone Troopers. I'll put them just above. I'll put them just above the Commander. Because for 10 points, like I'd rather kind of get those shots off and have a hard time getting hit. I'm expecting them to die eventually, but not a bad trooper for the New Republic. Young Jedi Knight. I don't love these things. For 21 points, I wish they had like 70 or 80 hit points. Just a little bit more since they don't have any special abilities. It's cool that they're fast. They can kind of get up to an issue. They can do some damage, and then they will die very fast. I don't love them. They're definitely C tier in my mind. Depends on where they go, though. I think I would put them... I haven't put anyone C tier in quite a while, actually. I've been loading up B and A tier. I prefer these shooters to them. I like how they're fast and they can get up to issues fast. I think just below Dash Rendar is probably appropriate. On my original tier list, I had these guys low. Yeah, I had these guys really low on my original tier list. I'm taking a look at it right now. I actually can't even find them. Where did I put them? Oh, I did. I put them bottom of C tier. I think this is good enough. I think they're definitely C tier. I wouldn't use them too often, but I don't really care for them that much. Night speed is kind of fun. Like, be able to move 10 and like start getting into the action. It's good. This guy just behind Thrawn, incredible. In my opinion, he's just such an incredible piece. So good stats for 34. I like how he has really high attack, and he's the only ranged. Yuuzhan Vong. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the only ranged Yusong Fong. So he can use super speed. He can hide in stealth. He'll give super stealth. He'll give super stealth to other individuals. And there's a lot of good combinations, like a lot of good combinations. Like this guy with the Ithorian, the Ithorian, whatever they were, scouts or whatever from Rebel Storm. You get cheap pieces with self-destruct and super stealth. That's fantastic. There's even some Yusong Vong characters that can benefit from this very, very well. So big fan of the big fan. And he has amazing powers. So cutting attack, so you can have a high percentage shot hitting, just for 20 damage though, if you need it. Force immunity is great, doesn't work on him. Loner, so this guy has a million attack. Like, you're never going to be worrying about attack with this guy if you ever need to use it. Being able to give any non-unique and allied character stealth or super stealth. There's so many amazing options to choose from. So fantastic. You can probably give it to a powerful fringe character, honestly. Like a Geo-hardened assassin or something, but I think they already have stealth. Incredible power. Parambol. If someone gets a little bit too close to you, you can do more damage for them for 50-50 chance. That's awesome. Easily S tier. In my opinion, the best Yusong Fong in the entire game. We're actually down in Yusong Fong now with the last couple. War Master, Savong Law. Where do I put him? So I have a tricky relationship with this guy because on one hand, he's very brutal. He has super high attack, super high hit points. That's really good. But where's the damage output? So he has momentum, so you can run up and do 20 damage, and then you're only going to be doing 30 damage after that. Very disappointing. I know there are characters that can help him out a little bit with that. Help him do, like, there's other Yusong Vongs that can get involved to help increase that damage output quite a bit, which is great. But unfortunately, just on his own, it kind of holds him back to me. I'll still put him in A tier, because don't get me wrong, awesome hit points, and then Crab Armor 6 is going to keep you going. Like, reality, this guy probably has like 250 or 300 hit points just with using this alone. And giving Yusong Vong momentum, very strong, because Yusong Vong, they do also struggle like he does with the 10 damage. So being able to give them something very helpful is very helpful. So definitely an A tier unit. I just dislike that he's tanky, but he can't dish out for too much. So where do I want to put him? I think I'll put him right up here, just below the X1 Viper Droid. Man, I think he's too high. I do really like him a lot, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think that's appropriate. All these things are better, or have better combinations, in my opinion. The Subaltern, giving the Warriors double attack. Well, they're going to already be dead by the time they want to use it. Razorbug's fine for range shots. Thudbug's okay. I don't love these things that much. Like, yeah, giving double attack to Warriors is good, especially like to Elite Warriors, but whatever. It's not that great. It's fine. Crab Armor is okay. I do like how most Yusong Vong have Crab Armor. It's just a little... Yusong Vong are fun. They got all these little, like, you can depend on them all having Thudbug. They all have Force Immunity. They all have Voodoo and Crab Armor. So it's pretty cool. Although I'm going to put these guys top of C tier. And then likewise, the Yusong Vong Warrior is cheap for 8 points. For 8 points, it has, I'd say, good stats for a melee piece at 8 points. Most times melee pieces, even that cheap, like they don't even have any HP. But Force Immunity's okay, which can be nice. If someone wants to do some sort of attack or something with him, it's going to be good. Thudbug's always great because your attack is so bad. Being able to just use Thudbug instead is underrated because you're going to make them activated, which can be really nice. And then 16, probably won't ever use Wood and Crab Armor 16, but off the off chance you do, you can maybe save a hit here or there. So I'll put them at the very bottom of B tier. No, I'll put them top of C tier. I still think they're pretty weak, but they have a lot of fun things in their kit. So there we go. That's Universe all together. Definitely a huge step up from Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion, is a terrible set with some good pieces. But Universe, we're starting to move in the right direction. Lots of fun B tier characters. Even the C tier characters, I don't love them. In fact, this guy belongs lower. He just does. I'm not a fan of how boring he is. Lots of good diversity. Great A tier characters, honestly. I mean, I kind of struggle. I kind of feel like he may be S tier, but he's on the verge. And then you have some classics. Both Nominor and Grand Admiral Thrawn are just amazing in their own right. And this Thrawn may be less preferred than the newer Thrawn, but to me, it's kind of like just kind of pick your situation. They're both awesome. So, anyways, I hope you like this video going over the Universe Star Wars miniature sets. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe, please check out the other videos. I've posted a couple of them. I'm going to be posting a couple more soon here. I've recorded a video for Champions of the Sith, or Champions of the Force, which I'll be releasing probably here soon. But in the meantime, yeah, appreciate it. And again, I want to give credit to the Rebel Scum Photo Archive for all of these images. So please check them out if you want to take a look at cards of pretty much any character available. And there we go. All right, I'll see you next time.